Hey man, how are you?
Good. How you going? You alright?
I'm good, thank you. I'll do a quick introduction, then we'll get started, hey?
Okay, sweet.
Awesome. So I'm Kyra from Heavy Magazine, and tonight I'm here with Josh from You Me at 6 to talk about his upcoming Australian tour. How you feeling, man?
Good, thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. So you guys haven't been back to Australia for near on 5 years. What makes it different playing here compared to all the other places you've toured around the world?
I think there's always been a special affiliation for us and Australia because it was kind of when we first started touring outside of the UK, Australia was the first place that kind of accepted us, if that makes sense, and received us really well. I think when we came over in 2010, we did Soundwave, and I just remember thinking it's really strange being this far from home but feeling really at home, and I don't think that's ever really changed for us. So I was just saying to somebody else, this is like I think our 10th or 11th time coming. So my maths isn't amazing, but that's almost once every year. So I think that shows how much we have enjoyed coming to Australia. It's just that it's special. All the things that I like about English people is kind of present in the culture in Australia as well. Like people being, laid back and warm and just inherently good people. I think I see a lot of that over there, especially within this community. So it's not always been our shows or necessarily been at gigs per se, but just being around people that are into the same sort of shit we are. It's very much that's been our experience. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're coming for once not in like your summer, so it probably won't be absolutely melting. But,
you can enjoy it.
I won't mind that, to be honest. We're having a bit of heat wave here at the moment, so it'd be nice to have to walk around Australia with a hoodie on for a bit.
Yeah, cool. So it's like your home away from home kind of feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. So Truth Decay has millions of plays on Spotify. So basically that means that your fans are just continuously hit and play on it. Does that make it a little bit more like reassuring and less daunting to release albums into that kind of setting?
I always find that with like the whole DSP and like how reflective that is of whether or not people like a band or like a song or an artist, I always find that a bit of a head scratcher because I've got mates who play in bands who have half a million monthly listeners on Spotify but sell 10,000 tickets in London. So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of, and there's also people that have like 3 million followers on TikTok and can't do the underworld in London. Do you know what I mean? So it's like that. I always find it really interesting. I think we've all become in our industry quite obsessed with that, and ourselves included over in certain periods of our career. But right now, I'm very much in a place where I'm just like, for me, what I noticed with a couple of our last records, they were streaming really well, but then when we would play those songs live or in a live environment, it was a bit dead. Whereas, like with Truth Decay, that's been the thing that has blown us away as much as it has. We were actually on tour when the record came out in England, and people were already like within like a day of hearing the album knew all the words and were like obsessed with it. So that's how I measure it. So that's how I'll know if people in Oz are feeling it, is when we're playing in front of them, which is why for us it's so important to talk, because that's how how and when we feel most connected to our fan base. And I guess equally that's probably why it's so difficult for both artists and fans alike during the pandemic. Not necessarily wanting to go into that too much, but like like that, not feeling that connection to something that's so like baseline. That's so intrinsically kind of like it for us is playing live. So not being able to do that and not be able to see our fans. So that, yeah, not being to Australia for 5 years for us is fucking weird. Like, that's way too long.
Yeah.
So we're really buzzing to be coming back, and yeah, the fact that there's still people there that give a shit or want to come watch us play is really, really incredible. So yeah, I feel very, very grateful.
Yeah, awesome. You released a few video clips to pair with your new album. So you got Heartless and Deep Cuts, to name a few. Which one did you have the most fun creating?
Well, we kind of did this thing where on the day we shot our album, our label and our management, what we should do is we should just film some snippets that can be used as like trailers for the songs, or to go on like DSPs or whatever. And then like this thing gets happening where like, so the only actual music videos we shot were Deep Cuts and Mixed Emotions. And then somehow we've got like videos for like Heartless and God Bless the 90s Kids and No Future and Breakdown. They're all taken from like this day of content that we did. So it was all a bit of a blur, but I mean, we've never done anything in like that sort of water tank environment. So that was cool doing that, just generally for the album. It was a very interesting day for sure. But the Deep Cuts video was really quite awesome because me and a guy called Ollie Appleyard, he's a director, but he plays in a band called Stack Dress. Really cool dude, and me and him we met on the video shoot for Hallucinate, which we did with yours truly.
Yeah, cool.
And and I just got chatting to him. I was like, yeah, I fucking like him, man. I think we should work together in some capacity. And then as soon as we'd written Deep Cuts, I sent him the song. I was like, wouldn't it be jokes if we did like an old school, like, imagine like the old school emo Drive to Records era and film it like that. And he's like, that's my shit, I can do that. So we basically just wrote a treatment together. And so that was kind of cool because it was like being involved in the visual aspects of the band a bit more closely, which is something that I've kind of ignored. I think us the music videos aren't really, we hate doing them, but we know that you kind of need to. So he was really amazing at making it not like feel like homework. He made it feel really exciting to do it, and yeah, it was wicked.
Yeah, cool. Explore that other side of your creativity, put it into movies.
Totally.
Yeah. So you mentioned working with yours truly, and you've worked and toured with them. Is there any other Aussie bands that have kind of caught your attention or left an impression on you?
Yeah, I think again that's kind of something that we found really strange, is that when we first started touring overseas, that we would always be drawn to Australian bands. So if we were doing Warped Tour, we became best mates at Parkway Drive. Out of the 50 bands that are doing it, those were people that became, our friends. And similarly, I say with Tonight Alive as well. We toured Trophy Eyes, they're really cool. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know, just people that, there's a couple of like, obviously like Tame Impala, but that's kind of just, it's not really, I don't know, they're otherworldly, aren't they, really, Tame Impala, so they're kind of in a league of their own. But yeah, I think Australia's got a really awesome scene, and that's why when my friend Ben at Unified hit me up about the Yours Truly song, he's like, look, I've got this band, and I think that, I think you could do a good job on one of their tracks, but it would be cool to like have Unit 6 be involved in something that Unified are doing, and when I because I wanted to talk to Michaela, I wanted to talk to the band first. I wanted to like get a sense of like what they're about, and I was like, look, I want you to be there when we're tracking it, so we'll time it for when you're in the country. And she just came over to Dan's house, our drummer Dan, and we recorded the vocals with her to make sure that she was getting what she wanted out of me, if that makes sense. And I don't know, I've got a feeling about that band that like sometimes you meet people and you can just tell that they're good people, and that they kind of warrant your attention, and if you can offer any sort of guidance or support, or I made a point of saying to her that when this song comes out, I'll make sure that we get you on some uni tours and some stuff like that, and let's try and really help use this song to help hopefully make people more aware of your band. So we've always kind of been quite keen when we come to Australia. We always bring out an Australian band because, again, I think that's really important. Because I know how expensive it is for us to get to you guys, so I can imagine that for an Australian band to go off and make a name for themselves is pretty far out. But it's interesting, actually, all the Aussie bands that I know, like Northlane and Parkway and yours truly, and have relationships with these bands, they're all really self-sufficient. Yeah. So I guess it's that kind of thing of like, fuck this, we've got to figure it out because we're in Australia, so we can't sit around and wait for somebody to come and sign us and make our dreams come true. We've got to go and make it for ourselves. So, and again, I see a lot of like the DIY spirit that we have in the British scene is in the Australian scene as well. So there's a nice kind of like crossover there as well.
Yeah, cool. Oh, that's actually really nice to hear that you can see the genuineness of people and be able to connect with that, and obviously that equals good music as well because you can see that there's a connection, and that's really cool to hear. So 13 songs is a nice healthy number for an album. Is there any that didn't quite make the cut that you wish did, or does that mean there's another album in the works in the near on future?
There is actually one or two which we had recorded and we were very like, we should put this out, and then in the final hour I just kind of was like, I really don't like these songs and I really don't want people to hear them. And honestly, with Decay, there's a couple more that could have come off as well, but I got outvoted. So 13 was the number, but I think it's one of those things, isn't it, that like within a fan base, even within our band, we're all G-Mystic super fans. It's like there's songs that some of the individuals really love and others don't, and so it's a big old chunk of compromise trying to make sure that everyone's kind of their idea of a perfect G-Mystic record is also kind of taken into consideration and given the best chance for them to be happy as well. So I think there's a couple that maybe could have gone on but didn't, that others really wanted. But I think at the end of the day, it's like, you've got to really, you've all got to agree on it, you've all got to love it. So I think that's a good dynamic that we have that. But as for other music within New Year 6, I don't know. I don't think so. Not anytime soon.
Yeah, cool. You kind of said something there. You got outvoted, so to speak, when you were doing the album. You guys have been together for so long. How do you keep that kind of respect between each other and keep the ball rolling and the fire going, like after all this time?
I would say because our collective goal is to take care of one another versus anything else. So the band could end tomorrow and those four blokes could still be my best mates. Yeah. And it's because we've kept it really simple over the years. We all get paid the same amount of money. We all have the exact same shares within the business. And when a decision's there to be made, there's different aspects of our business that different people in the band lead on, but it has to be it always has to be a group decision. Yeah. And because in that way, there's no room for resentment, there's no room for any sort of blame game if things don't go right down the line or whatever. So I think it's we met, when we were kids and we've grown up together, and we now have kind of we're well versed in this thing called life, but for the most part I've probably spent about minimum 200 days of every year with them for the last 18 years. So it's like, as I said, I think we will have this mutual understanding that the thought of us disrespecting or hurting one another based on a decision that might feel good at the time for the band, for the, you know, individual gain or individual kind of ambition is kind of, yeah, it's a non-starter. So that's kind of our non-negotiables, that, you know, we will have to feel good about what we're doing. So, and that's, you know, I think that's how we keep things going. And how long it will go on for, I don't know. But I think that there's a lot of bands that I've come across in our time that you wouldn't even catch them in the same room after a show or before a show, let alone, you know, going around Max's mum and dad's house in a couple of weeks, and there's like all the mums and dads and the girlfriends and the siblings, and there's like going to be 40 of us all around there having a big family barbecue. Like, that's our dynamic, you know. So that's me, you know, knowing that without any hesitation I can pick up the phone to any one of those parents and know that I'm doing right by their son and vice versa. I think that's probably the most important thing that we have, to be honest. Yeah,
great answer. And that's an amazing thing to have. Like, having such a bond will keep you guys strong for many more years to come, I'm sure. Well, I better let you go, and best of luck on your tour. And I hope to see you doing your 20 years tour soon. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, in another 2 years. Nice.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Josh. You rock. Have a good tour. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, lovely. I'll get your recording ASAP.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Bye, you too. Bye-bye.